When I go walking, I'm singing songs in my head to counteract shivers, and everything in my head gets a bit jumbled about when I'm doing this, and sometimes I sing the song "The House That Jack Built," and if I'm not careful, I accidentally mix the verses up and say that the man who was tattered and torn was milking the maiden all forlorn. YMCA, it's fun to stay at the YMCA. So here I am, fresh from my walk, in the clothes I wear when I go walking. I'm walking about and people start backing away as if I'm going to stab them or steal their money, which is a stereotypical view about hoodies. People think if you wear a hoodie, you must be, some sort of relative of Satan. But it's not really, because I wear a hoodie because it's cold, and I wear these bits to protect my ears. So it's a very stupid opinion. It's like if I went into a bank and I was wearing a hoodie, and they'd all probably be like, better keep security on red alert. But then if I went to them and said, oh yeah, I've got £1 million and I'd like to put it in your bank, please, they would completely change their mind. Anyway, we're going to get onto a new subject because we're running out of time. I do tend to do that, just natter and natter on. So let's spruce up. Yes, that really is the best part of my day. The moment when both walks are done and I can change out of those horrible sweaty clothes and start enjoying the day. So I thought I'd talk about Jon Pertwee because I just watched another video of him, and I mean it all started because in this video he says that he never really enjoyed doing the Carry On films, which is really quite disappointing really, because I think he's absolutely fantastic in the Carry On films. He did I think 3: Carry On Cowboy, Carry On Screaming, and Carry On Cleo. And it was really sad to hear that he didn't like doing them, because he is fantastic in them. In Carry On Cleo he plays this sort of crazy old soothsayer.
He's a soothsayer.
Sooth.
Now tell them what you told me.
There is death this night. I have seen it in the fire.
What fire?
Oh, gather round and have a butcher's.
And he makes funny noises and things like that. I loved him in Carry On Cleo. I think that's one of the things that makes Carry On Cleo a very good Carry On film. The sort of guest appearance of Jon Pertwee. Yes, my voice has turned very dull and the power's run out. Yeah, and so that was Carry On Cleo. In Carry On Cowboy he plays a similar character who's sort of mad again, a bit senile. It's not so brilliant, but it's still nice. It's still sort of, watching this senile old man is funny. It makes for comedy entertainment. And he gets shot quite early on, so he doesn't. He's never really a big character in the Carry On. He's just sort of an appearance. And then you come to Carry On Screaming, which is just shit for his appearance, because he's just a doctor and it's a bit dull. But that's not the only thing about Jon Pertwee that I wanted to talk about, because I think his anecdotes, I think they're called, these little stories, he has many of them, and quite honestly, they are legendary. I love them. I love listening to his little stories about his childhood and everything, because the stories are just really interesting, and they're really lovely stories. There's the one about the postman who goes, "Oh bugger, I ain't going up there," and so the man who chucks his post into the dollop of turd. And then there's the story about him swinging on the lavatory chains, even, not the trains. And one of my favourite stories of his anecdotes is the one where his teacher, everyone didn't like him, and Jon Pertwee found him hilarious, this teacher. And the teacher one day calls him up and says, "Why do you always laugh? You should be frightened of me." And Jon Pertwee says, "Well, I'm not." And a good fellow, sort of thing. And I think that's a really lovely story as well. So that's my bit about Jon Pertwee. I wish I could have met him. Like Elizabeth Sladen, I would have loved to have met her as well. And Nicholas Courtney. I wouldn't have liked to have met... I wouldn't like to have met Leonard Nimoy because I don't like Star Trek. Most people are surprised at that the fact that I've never seen Star Trek, but I don't watch it, so... or Star Wars for that matter. And actually, just to go back to Jon Pertwee, he also did Wurzel Gummidge, of course. I always think Wurzel Gummidge was a very sort of cruel programme, because Wurzel Gummidge never actually got together with Aunt Sally, and it was a really, she was very vicious, Aunt Sally. I think in many occasions she wanted to rip up all of his straw and set him afire, She was very vicious, but Wurzel Gummidge in so many episodes was persisting with this relationship. And they never got anywhere, which was, well, maybe in the Australian version, I don't know, but, that was always the sad thing, he tried and tried and tried and never actually got anywhere. I mean, not sexually, of course. I mean, that's what people instantly think, but I'm talking about, love and relationship, because we all need that bit of love, bit of affection. I mean, we're not pussycats, but we do need it. I mean, I personally do. I need some affection. Yes, and also Jon Pertwee, I like his sort of attitude. He comes in, he does his Wurzel Gummidge voice, and it's, he's just a very lovely person. I would have loved to have met him. I really would. I've met him in my dreams, of course, which brings us along to the next point. I met him in a dream once when I was going to a convention, and he fell down a hole in this dream. Anyway, I'm going on to dreams. Again, like Wurzel Gummidge, dreams are very cruel, because they're that thing that you can't have. Whatever you desire is in a dream, and you can't have that. I always wonder, I dream of a day when you have a device that can film dreams, because that'd be wonderful. It might be a bit traumatic, actually. It might actually damage your mind quite badly, because you have this thing, and it's like that mirror from Harry Potter. If you if you stay too long, you start to go mad. But yeah, I mean, I think dreams are very cruel for someone like me, who's never ever had a relationship. People look at me, and they usually, I've never really got past 2 messages. We say hello, how are you, and then they sort of just piss off, which is very cruel. That's what the world is like. At the moment, I've got someone who I'm talking to, and he's gone for lots of messages, which is really uplifting and hopeful. So yeah, that's good. But I mean, dreams. I mean, so many times in dreams, I've met the most handsome man, and he's perfect. He's got the best personality. He's sexy, but then I wake up and it's just a fairy tale, really, just imagination. So yes, I'm doing well. I'm still selling my drawings, although they're going at very low prices, which is crippling for my depression. That really is sad. But my policy is that, every pound helps. And so if I sell a drawing for £1, as long as it makes profit, that's good. So yeah. But I mean, if you're interested, I have to say it again, if you want a drawing of Hitler in various strange positions, like Hitler with a ginger wig, which I've just done, it's over here, or if you want one of him with boobs, or if you want one with him kissing a dog, or something like that, or if you just want another drawing of something like that, or you want your portrait done, as long as you're not white, then that's fine, because I find black people harder to draw. But yes, if you've got a nice simple face like mine. I'll end with a quote from Blackadder, in which what's his name? It's not Percy. It's Darling. He says, "No, sir, it's the Germans we'll be licking." And Stephen Fry says, "Don't be disgusting. I wouldn't lick a German if he was glazed in honey."